I was married at 18 years old, and I was really very excited about the prospect of, having a family and the whole traditional kind of way of looking at life. And what I thought would be a fairy tale turned into a nightmare. There was a lady that was in the same neighborhood that I was at, and she was also living that life of abuse, and we became very close to each other, and we kind of helped each other through that journey. And so whenever I was in a dark place of, coming out of abuse, she would help me put makeup on to cover the bruises. And back in those days, there was a police officer that was always in that area. So he was either going to her house or my house. And one day he came to my house early in the morning, and it was not a good thing. It was not good for her. So he gave me a business card to the Marjaree Mason Center and said, "You need to really think about this, because you could be in a darker place." And the next day, my ex-husband came in and he wanted a chicken sandwich. But I made and that was, I went flying across the room, and it was not a good thing. And my 4-year-old grabbed my purse and took my 2-year-old out of the crib and put us in our Chevy Chevette and screamed and said, "Mommy, Mommy, I got the keys, I got the keys," and I ran for my life. I remember I had no gas in the car, and I pulled over. In that moment, I reached into my pocket, and I had no shoes on, mind you. My kids had t-shirts on. I just had a little robe on, and it was the card that the police officer had given me to the Marjaree Mason Center. And they actually came out and helped me and took me in. Well, everyone was so nice and so helpful. And I think that's the important part of humans helping each other, is that we need each other. And when you're in a dark place, if somebody can help you come out, then you follow the light. And they were my light. And so they took us in, and they had what we needed, and most importantly, they had people that cared. And that was very important. And then they had counseling available, and they had connections and all the trainings and the classes that you took and everything that you needed, so you could have the tools to be able to go out into the world and be equipped. I think people need an opportunity to believe in themselves. There's nothing more beautiful than getting up in the morning and not being in fear. And when you're giving your life to people that don't appreciate you or don't love you enough to make changes in their life, then it's just one day lost, And I try to live every day fully and with joy and love and peace and all the things that we need to do. So I ended up going into the master's program, and I did my hours at Child Protective Services. When I would go out and respond to abuse or neglect, they needed formula, they needed all these things that they needed, and we didn't have it. Once I got my master's, I decided I was going to start an agency to help foster children. And so, hence Angels of Grace Foster Family Agency. And I was able to, bring in those items, share with the community how important it was to have, the items that kids needed coming out of abuse. Coming out of abuse in my own life experience and being in the middle of Fresno with no shoes on, I was tragic. You're just like, I don't even have shoes on. I can't even get out of the car. And that's how my kids felt, kids being rescued. So that was kind of my passion. Okay, let's just get you cleaned up. Let's just put shoes on your feet. And then we'll start working on the rest of it. Humans need those basic needs met. Without the Marjaree Mason Center, many women like me would have ended up dead. It's such a horrible thing to say, but it was our reality. And it's a safe haven to be able to go somewhere and stay safe. People that are coming out of those dark places, many of them don't have the financial means. You know, I didn't even have shoes on my feet. So somebody has to provide so that can all happen. And financial support is very important, because then they can do what they need to do to bring in the counselors or the items that they need for the women. You know, it's nice to donate clothing and all that, but I think really the real powerful part is to give financially, and it's a good investment. I was your investment. You know, people that are coming out or are paralyzed in their place of abuse need to take one little step at a time, make that one phone call, start walking out of that dark place. It's like a tunnel that you're going through. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and then you'll be able to help others come out of that darkness into the light.